Hello again, this is Sherman returning to give you our second video on making backing tracks. This particular video we're going to talk about Cubasis, which is our DAW or our mixer, software mixer, and tell you a little bit more about how I use that and how other people do as well. But to start off, I want to talk just a little bit about the whole overall process. The first process I've done on a video was talking about karaoke tracks and how to download those. Great video. I think it'll give you a lot of information about how to get it, how I set things up, how I do things, and if you want stereo backing tracks, that's a good way to do it. So I hope that'll be good for you. Again, this video, second of a batch, and it's on the Cubasis 3 program. It's an iPad program that I believe it's free. If it's not free, it doesn't cost a whole lot. That's all I remember about it. I should have looked it up, but I didn't. I apologize for that. But the next video I think I'm going to do after that is on Multi-Tracker 2.2, and it'll give you a little bit more information about how we set up our tracks and set up our song lists and send the music to our mixer. Anyway, I just wanted to give you a brief overview, and I can apologize because I've been sick and I just can't get rid of this cough. Not a lot of fun. So Cuebasis 3, let's go ahead and open it up at the top there, right, kind of towards the middle on the right, just a little bit. Cuebasis 3. Excuse me, goodness. Unprofessional, I'm sorry, but Cuebasis 3, here it is. The layout of it's pretty much like any other DAW for the most part. It's got a lot of powerful tools that we'll get into and talk about. What I do is I actually take each one of the stems from karaoke version and I bring them in one at a time. And the way I do it is down at the bottom you can see, second column over at the bottom there, it says 6 bass, and below that it's got delete, add, and duplicate. If you're going to add, I'll give you an example. If I've got a song that has 5 tracks to it, 5 stems to it, in this case I'm going to add 8 tracks or 8 stems. And the reason why is the first 2 are for MIDI lighting system that I have. And so we're probably not going to go into that at all. Let me know if it's something you want. But anyway, so that's track 1, track 2. The third track is called Vocal Triggers. And we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about it. I actually did another video the other day, and when I played the vocal triggers on the screen, it actually recorded it from the screen, and then it heard it again through the microphone, and so it doubled it up. So I can't do that, can't show you that, but we'll talk about the vocal triggers and how to do those and where they are and what they do. Basically what they are is it's a cue for me as the vocalist. It is also the cue for the band. What I do is at the very first line item, let's just take that and slide over to the start of a song. You can see the first one on track 3 where it says vocal triggers is bigger than the rest, let's say. And what that is that's the name of the song. And I just do a recording of that, and recording is up at the top, you can see the purple box. 2 over to the right is the circle. That's recording. And it'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the recording will start. And it doesn't take long, so you got to do it pretty quick. And you don't, the shorter the better, because it'll take up all your time. If you do it that way, you just hit the button. 1, 2, 3, 4. Vocal triggers. Hit the stop, and usually it comes out pretty good. The next one is kind of, the next two probably are the description of who starts it in the band. So like my band, you know, a lot of times it's the drummer that starts. Sometimes it's the lead guitar. It could be keyboard, whatever it is. And what I'll do is I'll say, in this case, I would say all in for everybody to start all at the same time. And then if it's not all of us in, if it's guitar, what was I going to tell you? Guitar start. Can't remember what I did. Anyway, and it'll make sense in a minute. But and then the next ones are 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the countdown. Now the key to this whole thing is the countdown to start the song has to be consistent with your tracks. You have to make it match. The rest of the vocal triggers are going to be wherever you need the trigger to be. It may be count number 3.5. It may be 1.5. Whatever it is, it is. and that's because the way songs are written, sometimes they start out early for their vocals, and sometimes they don't. You probably already know that, but just in case, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. You can kind of see that as I take it over, that is the one spot. Even though it's on 2, that's the one spot. I hope that makes sense. That's your 2 spot. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and so on and so forth. So, like I said, the first vocal trigger has to match the song, and you're going to have to move. You're probably going to have to move in order to do vocal triggers. You will have to move your song to the right, and I usually give it three measures. You can see that the click, which is track number 4. The first number 1 is the starting point, and it's a bigger, bolder visual to show you that that's number 1, and it's also louder in the on the track itself. It's also louder. Then it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's how that works pretty much. So I usually take the whole song and I move it over to the right. Most of the songs will start, most of them will start where most of the music will line up with the first click of the track. The first one count, let's call it that. But I have to move it over. In this case, if I move down, the drums actually start about 3.3 and 3.1, a little over that. Actually, I take it back. It's actually, the 1 count is on the 4 bar, but it has an intro for the drums. So again, you got to move your song around to match where your one spot's at. I was thinking that the 3 measure was the beginning of the song, but it's not. It's the 4 measure in the song. And then, as you can see across here, most of the rest of the instruments and vocals and whatnot don't get started till way later on. But so let me just describe this just a little bit to you. Come on, let's make it smaller. So you can see that this one has one thing. If you, let's go down to track number 11, backing vocals. You can see some little 4 light lines in there before the drums even start, and that's what happens when you click on karaoke version up in the upper left hand corner. If you click on add click, it adds those 4 little lines. The problem is it does it to every track. So in this case, I deleted them off of every one of them except for the backing vocals. And I don't know why I did that, but but it blended right in. If I had it on one of them, it blended right in. If I had it on all of them, it made a mess. It just was terrible. So I don't know how I forget that, or how I missed that one, but regardless, you'll see what I mean if you ever click on that little checkbox up in the upper left-hand corner on Karaoke Vision. You'll end up with all these little lines, and you go, "Oh crap! I better not ever do that again." I know I won't. But you can see 11 tracks here, 11 stems. Each one is named. The song comes in, and it's called backing vocals for one of the tracks, one of the stems. And then over in the second column over, you can literally go, I'll touch where it says backing vocals, touch that, and then you notice up in the upper right hand corner it says 11 backing vocals. I actually renamed that from whatever it said before, and I just typed it in right there. If you click on the X, then it comes up with a keyboard, and you can just type it in, and it worked out, worked the way it's supposed to be. And you do that on each and every one of the backing tracks or stems. Let's see what else. So then the next one, the first one is to get the band started. The next one is, it's actually, if I remember right on this particular song, I wish I could play it. It would just sound like crap, and so I can't do that. But you can see right about here, it shows, and I think it says woohoo, and that's the beginning of this particular song. Woohoo, woo, woo. Anyway, and then it's 2, 3, 4, and then that's when I command to do the woo woo, right? So now you kind of that's how the song begins for me. If I didn't have that there, I'd probably forget that half the time, or where's it come in at, But this is the vocal triggers to help us remember what needs to be said and what needs to be done, and when to do it. The next one is verse. The line right by the 7, behind the 7 there, it says verse, and then it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, when you get to let's see if I can do it. Excuse me. You can see that it's actually 8.2. So 8 is 8.1. Then it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 9.1, 9.2, 9.3, 9.4. Anyway, that's how I'm counting it. It refers to it that way a lot in here. You can see it in the top line over to the left, about the fourth one over, 8.2.1. So anyway, that's where it refers to that. So it's actually 8.2. Let's see what else. So that's when the first verse comes in, and then what I do is I go down to the next spot, which would be about right here. Excuse me. Sorry. That's terrible. I can't get rid of this cough. I really can't. It's been 7 weeks now. Anyway, the next one is chorus. Chorus. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. And the next one might be verse. Verse 1, 2, 3, 4. And then chorus again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, these have to line up with where you start your song, your singing, your vocals. Again, same thing there, and you basically just have to apply it to each and every one. Now this is where it gets a little bit. You got to be a little bit creative sometimes, and here it was probably the chorus, might be chorus 2 in this case. I think it was. Chorus 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then when I get to right here, it's like you get to the vocals repeat themselves over and over and over 3 times. So I say repeat 2 or 3, 4. That's how those that's what those 3 lines are there for 3 different measures. So repeat 3, 4, and then I repeat, and then repeat 3, 4, and then I repeat 3, 4, and then I repeat, and then the last one down here is end. And this song ends pretty quick. It's like end, 1, 2, 3, 4, done. It's just that quick. Now, that's kind of an overview of how I put the vocal triggers in there. Now, where do I get the vocal triggers on this program? That's a good question. So let's go up to the top left, media, where it says media there. Okay, project, and see it says project on the lower left, and then the second one over, I've got a thing in there called vocal triggers, and you can download this off the internet. Just do a search for it. I would provide it, but it may be something that I would have to pay for to do. So I believe it was. I'm pretty positive it was free to download, but if I was to give it away, it might cause issues. So I'm going to avoid that. Vocal triggers. So when you click on that, obviously it highlights. Click on it twice. It takes that first thing and puts it aside, and opens up the third one over. And this is actually the name of the vocal triggers, and it actually pretty darn close. So like, for example, it could be all in. You can see that there, all in, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or it could be bass, 1, 2, 3, 4. It could be somewhere down the song might be a break, break, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. Bridge, 1, 2, 3, 4. All these things. Chorus, there we go. Chorus 2, click. Excuse me. That cough just hits me all of a sudden. There's nothing I can do about it. Sorry. Click. Click accent. I don't play with that. I don't play with the click there because the song comes with its own click, and I just use that. Sometimes I've had to adjust that to make it match the song, but just be aware of what you're working with. Various things. Drums might be drums. 1, 2, 3, 4. And like on the I just talked about here. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's 4 full band, and you can say that at the beginning or in between, anywhere, wherever you want to remind your band. Okay, full band. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or it could be guitar. It could be guitar solo. I got a solo one in here as well. It came with it. I haven't done anything. I haven't made any new ones or anything. I just downloaded this and applied it, and it works great. Intro. Could be intro keys. Could be intro guitar. Intro bass. Whatever it is. You can mix and match, make it do however you want it to do. More counting. Outro. The very last one, instead of end, could be outro. You know, you can make these work however, whatever makes most sense to you in your brain. Solo. There's many times when I get to a solo and I want to count it out because I want everybody to realize, okay, here it comes. Could be guitar solo, it could be keyboard solo, whoever it is, whatever it is. It could be all in solo. Sometimes we just need a reminder, or the band needs a reminder that this is the solo part, and it's going to go for a bit. And do your thing, players. Do your thing. Anyway, kind of see the various things that are on there. Go through them, use them, whatever works the best for you. To close this, it's the X on the right hand side, middle of the page. I'll click on that. It'll kind of go away. Let's see, what else can I tell you? A little bit. Oh, mixer. Okay, let's go up to vocal triggers, and I touched in the middle of the stem number 3. Touch that. I kind of highlight that track or that stem, and then I go up to mixer, and it's at the top, third one over from the left, and you touch that, and you can see where it says vocal. What does it say? Vocal triggers. Yeah, vocal triggers. You can see I got my volume up just a little bit for that because I want that to stand out compared to the song. Sometimes if you don't do that, there's going to be times when you're going to be going, was that a 1? Oh, shoot, I missed it. You know what I mean? So I want it to stand out in my ear. One thing I was going to tell you is the way we're doing it here with this program and all these programs is it makes your backing tracks stereo. And it makes stereo in your ears. You don't have to do the pan to the left or pan to the right, and do a click on one of them, you know what I mean? And I'll show you, we'll talk more about that and show you what that's all about. But these are stereo backing tracks. And let me tell you, it is nice. I usually don't have both ears in because I want to hear what the band sounds like, and I want to hear what I sound like compared to the band, volume-wise. And so I normally just have one of them in, but it does sound nice. It really does. So let's see, what else can I show you? So to get rid of that, it's over on the left hand or on the right hand side, the X right in the middle. I'm going to click on that. It's going to kind of go away. Routing that your MIDI would be affected by that. Again, I'm not going to go into that at all. Some of the other things I just don't do. I haven't had to do because I'm relying on the song to give me what I need. And multi-tracker. The next video will show you how I mix all these. I don't spend any time really adjusting the volumes on these. I don't do anything with that except for the vocal triggers. Like I say, I bump those up just a little bit. But the multi-tracker, I basically mix them. I mix them the way I want to hear them. I mix them the way I want the sound to go out to the yeah, audience. That's what I was looking for. Sorry. I want the sound to go out to the audience, and if you want more bass, I can adjust it. If I want more guitar, if I want whatever it is I want to do, I can adjust it, and I'll show you. I'll show you all about that. Same thing you would do on this. It's another mixer, but it's the final mixer. Let's call it that. So let's see what else I can show you. Oh yeah, let's go across the top there. Media. Kind of talked about that a little bit. Pops that up. The second column are the various songs that I've done, and you can see the next column is the tracks for that song, and you can just go up and keep going and go through. Lady in Red pulls those tracks up. Maggie May pulls up those tracks. He remembers them all, which is nice. You may have a little bit of issues with that when you begin because it's all about how you set it up at the beginning, and you create a new project and you bring it in like I show you on the karaoke version. You bring it in that way, and I can go over that here. Let's take a second and do that. So when you download your song, it'll go in. You put it in one of your folders, and here's all your different stems. And what I do is I copy those, and I say onto my iPad, and I go to in this case I'm going to copy it over to Cubasis. So I click on the Cubasis program, third one down. Click on that, and in this case I click on the second to the last one, which is called Projects. And again, you got the list of all the songs, and I open it up, and let's do this one here after, and then I bring those in and I set them in there, and as soon as I do that, I get out and I open up Cubasis, and there they are. Bam. They're not in the let's go back to that. They're not in the upper part of the program, but they are down in the lower where it says Projects, Maggie May, the name of the tracks. They are down there, and then you have to physically bring them up to the mixer itself. So let's see, what else can I tell you? That's what's down in Projects. Mixdown, that's pretty much the next step, so I'm just going to jump in on that right now. Once you get done with the settings the way you want them, you got everything, all your timing set right. First thing you got to do is you got to go to the left and right of the song. The left needs to go all the way to the beginning, and the right has to encompass all the tracks, 100%. So that's what you got to do. You got to make sure it's that, and you can see on the left side, clicks out a little bit further. You know, they may jog just a little bit depending on the song, how the song was presented. It might be one track, maybe longer or shorter. It just depends. You have to, again, make it work, and it'll probably end on the same spot or in the right spot, all of them. So that's good. So first thing you got to do is make sure that you're encompassed by all of those there. Then the next thing you do is you go to Media at the top left. You go to Mixdown in the bottom left. says mix down, and then the next one over at the very top underneath name it says create mix down. And what it does is it takes each one of these stems and it records it and saves it on your in that directory, the mix down directory. And from that point, then all you do is you just move it into multi-tracker, and it's pretty good, pretty sweet. It's a sweet little process. It literally takes me about an hour per song to do this from start to finish. Of course, depending on the song, but some songs are a little bit off here and there, so I like fixing those where I have to. And but it takes an hour to get it set up, and then after I move it into multi-tracker, I could spend a whole nother hour or more mixing the song the way I want it. It's not always the way you remember the song when it gets done with, when it gets made, when the tracks or stems get made. It may not be the way you remember the song, but I make it so it does sound like the original. Let's see what else can I tell you. So that's the mix down part. What else? Going across the top, we got media open. I don't mess with keys too much. That's like keyboard, I think. I don't know what that does. Let's see what it is. It does nothing. Oh, it's grayed out. That's what I do. Mixer, like I said, I turn the vocal triggers up just a hair. Tells me I'm at 73.1.1 as far as where the play bar's at. All left, all start, I guess, all the way to the start, and then all the way to the right. And I don't know what this one is, honestly. It's always on. Let's put it that way. I think I can turn it off, but it's always on. It has something to do with the left and right as far as the overall encompassing of the song. So I think it has something to do with that. So I just always have it on. The next one is play. If you want to play the song, click on that. The next one is record. So at the beginning of the song, I like to record the name of the song. I'll say Africa and start stop. So I'll press the 0 or the record button, and then it'll count down 1, 2, 3, 4, bam, and it starts. And so I just, as quick as I can, as clear as I can, I'd say Africa, and then press it again, and it shuts it off. Sometimes you have to trim it down just a little bit, not too very often. You get to the point where you can pretty much get it right on. Let's move over. One of the things I was going to tell you was where it says 98.0 beats per minute. Okay, that's one of the things you get right off the karaoke version. And when you first start the program, you should do that. That way it's all set perfectly. There's no messing around with it being long or short. It actually adjusts everything perfectly for the song. Shop, if you want to buy more of the adapters, add-ons and things like that, you do that. Setup, I can't remember what that does exactly. Obviously setup somehow. I guess I can touch it. Do I want to? Okay. Interesting. Like I say, I don't mess with everything on this thing. This thing is way too good for me. But if that applies to you, use it, I guess. If you think it should apply to me, let me know. I'll be glad to get into it more. So you hit the X on the middle right, gets rid of that. Help button, obviously. The next line down, select. I don't use a lot of these. There is erase. It's grayed out at this point. So let's go. If I wanted to, that's not going to work very good. So I click on the 4 count in this case. In this case, I could right there, since it's all highlight, and I just touch the whatever it is you want moved or erased or whatever, you just touch it, and then if I clicked on erase, it would go away. Mute I don't use. Transpose I've used a couple times. Not worth talking about really. I mean, maybe it is, but I don't know enough about it to talk about it, so let's skip that. Right now, if you look at the top of the like where it says 32, third, excuse me, third row down. Third row down, it says 32. And you can see where there's 32, there's the 1 count, and then there's different lines in between. 16 counts, 8 count, 32 count, whatever it is you want to do. It's a way of excuse me, gosh, sorry about that. Maybe I'll have to make it again someday when I'm not coughing. But I want to get it out. I've got people that are looking for it. So, if you want to move your count and be more precise, then you can do that. You know, like for example, this one that's on right now, one that's highlight, vocal trigger that's highlight the 4. And the next one is over here. There we go, right there. So you can see if I took another one and put it in there, it'd almost be perfect where it goes. But it's not, doesn't have to be exact. You can tell from the music where you need to be, but I like it darn close. You know what I mean? You don't want to be 3 bars off or anything like that. That's where the 16th, 32s, or it says 1/16, and it can change. You can change it to various things. Let's just touch it. Snap grids. That's probably the best way to describe it right there. Snap grids. Half bars, quarter bars, 1/8 bars, 16th, 32nd, 64th, dotted, triplet. Wow. A lot more than I use. I usually do 8th and 16th and 32. One time I think I did 64 because it was just spread out and I wanted to get it dialed in. But nobody had missed that, I promise you. Let's see what else. What else can I tell you? Again, to kind of give you a recap. Songs come into your download file. I put them in folders. Folders have all the tracks. Take those tracks once I get them all in, and I count them. You have to count them sometimes because you get confused as to, did I download that? Did I double that up? Or you kind of got to watch that. Anyway, so I count those, and then what I do is I click on select, and then it gives me the option for select all, and I can click them all at one shot, and then I can say copy, and then I take them over to my iPad, right? And then I go to Cubasis, and then I go projects. Then I create a directory for it. Might be Africa, and I drop it in there, and that's what gets it into Cubasis. Now, after you do the mix down, after you do the adjusting of all the stems and whatnot, you go back to on my iPad, and you can see Cubasis. I click on Cubasis, and in this case, you go to mix down. That means you're done with the song. Let's take that, and you can see right there, Hotel California. There's all the stems for Hotel California. and all the stems for each one of the songs that I've done, which is over 100, I believe. But so then what I do at that point is I take that and I copy it over, do the same thing. I say select, pick all the stems that I want, and say copy. I go back to my iPad, and I go to multi-tracker 2, and I would go to my songs, fourth directory down, my songs, and I would create a directory for it. Here's Africa. Let's do that one. And then I would say paste on that, and that brings it into multi-tracker. So that's kind of the brief overview. The rest, the intermediate part, is all just doing the mixing of the files, of the stems, of the vocal triggers specifically. So hopefully that all makes sense to you. Like I say, one of the other things that I'm just going to bring up to remind you is that on Cuebasis, when I go to the media at the top left, I go to projects, and then what you want is you want to go to the end, vocal triggers. Go online, and there's a guy that's in a band called California Credence, and he's the one I learned from. And he may say something different that you need to hear, but there are some things that I needed to make sure you knew, because it helped me a lot. Things that I learned along the way. But he has one of his things has vocal triggers. But I think if you just go to do a Google search on the internet, you should be able to find vocal triggers and download them, and you probably end up with the exact same thing that I got. Whoa. What did I do? Vocal triggers. There we go. Sorry, gal. Anyway, there's all the vocal triggers that you have. But again, those are free. You should be able to just go somewhere and download them. And I don't know where I have mine stored other than here, and I don't know how I would get them out to you. So it'd be best just to go right to the source. And like I say, California Credence is the name of the band, and can't think of his name. Anyway, a great instructor. So he's got that on his page as well. Let's see what else. Close that down. Lower right hand corner. I'm going to click on the left arrows, and then if you take the ball, move them back and forth. I'm going to the smaller side. You can see it took those stems and it just shrunk them down, so you can see them all in one screen there, you know. And you can go a little bit bigger, you can go really big, you know, depending on what you want to do and what's best for you. Now let's go all the way to the far lower right hand corner, the arrows that are up and down. Same thing. If you touch the one on the up and down, it highlights, and you can go move the start and end of the song. You're basically zooming in, zooming out. The other way you can do it is you can just pinch it with your fingers. Pinching with your fingers does not, if I remember right, does not affect your the height of the. Oh shoot! Scare me. Every time I do something, it's like, oh darn it. Anyway, it's touchy, but it's a great program. And like I said, it does a lot more than what we've even started to touch on. You can see the number one tracks is Light Track, Track 2. It's got it, but it doesn't. I don't have anything in there on this particular song. Let's go back to. Media. Let's find us all I got. Hotel California. There we go. Let's go to. Huh. Interesting. Anyway, I was going to try and open it up and show you what the MIDI files look like. It's been a while since I played with them. I did all my songs at one point, and then Despero, I don't think so. Africa. Huh, interesting. It's not pulling it up. Must be a different, I must have to do it a different way. Can't remember how I did it now. But hopefully that'll get you started on this. A little bit confusing. Sorry. Apologize for that. Sorry for coughing. Hopefully you like it. Let me know if you got questions, and I'll try and answer your questions. Like I said, California Credence. Great keyboard guy, and very technology savvy. I learned how to do my mixer with him. I learned how to do this with him. I learned how to do lights with him. He does it all. He really does. So there's a lot you can gain from him as well. So anyway, I think that's it. I hope you have a good day. I hope this answered some of your questions. And I'm going to leave it at that.